Captain Jake Morrison stood quietly on the bridge of his ship. The USS Defiance was the best warship that humans had ever built. It floated in the dark space at the edge of the solar system. The year was 2387, and humans had finally learned how to send messages across the entire galaxy in seconds. Dr. Lisa Harper worked at her computer nearby. She was the ship's expert on alien languages. For many months, she had been writing the perfect message to send to all the aliens in the galaxy. This message was not asking for peace. It was not starting a war either. It was something much more frightening because it was so simple and calm. Jake watched as Lisa finished typing the final words. Her hand shook a little as she looked at what she had written. This message would change everything between humans and aliens forever, on Earth. Admiral Ben Carter had already said yes to sending this message. The top military leaders had talked for many hours about whether they should tell the aliens the truth about human power. General Susan Torres had argued that keeping secrets was no longer possible. In the end, they all agreed that being honest would scare the aliens more than any lie could. Lisa began to read the message out loud to make sure it sounded right. "Attention, unknown civilizations," she said slowly. "This is the human species of Earth, Sol System. We know you are out there. We have been watching your ships come near our borders for many years. We have studied your technology, learned your languages, and made maps of your territories." Jake nodded as he listened. Every word was true. For decades, humans had been secretly watching alien ships that came to spy on Earth. The aliens thought they were being clever and careful. They thought humans were too stupid to notice them. They were very wrong. Commander Nick Phillips sat at the communications station. His job was to make sure the message would reach every corner of the galaxy. He had spent weeks preparing the quantum transmitters. These machines could send signals faster than light itself. Soon, every alien civilization would hear what humans had to say. The message continued with words that would make alien leaders lose sleep for years. "We could have said hello to you many years ago," Lisa read. "We could have come to you with open hands and peaceful hearts. Instead, we chose to watch and wait. We have been getting ready." This was the part that would terrify the aliens most. Humans had not been sitting quietly on their little planet like the aliens believed. They had been working, learning, and building. Every day for 50 years, humans had been preparing for this moment. Jake remembered the secret meetings he had attended as a young officer. Military leaders from every nation on Earth had worked together. They shared technology and information. They built ships that could travel between stars without being seen. They created weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Most importantly, they learned to be patient. Nick began sending the message across the galaxy. Within minutes, it was traveling to hundreds of different star systems. Alien communication networks lit up with activity as the message reached them. The galaxy would never be the same. Dr. Harper had studied alien psychology for years. She knew that most aliens thought humans were weak and primitive. They saw Earth as a planet full of creatures that barely knew how to leave their own atmosphere. This mistake would cost them dearly. The message went on to explain something that would shock the aliens. "We have been inside your computer systems for years," Lisa read. "We know about your secret meetings. We know about your plans to invade our world. We know which of your leaders want war and which ones want peace." This was completely true. Human intelligence agents had learned to hack alien technology decades ago. Captain Greg Adams led a team of specialists who could break into any alien computer system. They had been reading alien messages and watching alien military exercises for years. Jake looked out at the stars and thought about all the alien fleets hiding in the darkness. The Zealothi had 12 ships watching Earthright. Now, the Korthax Empire had been building invasion fleets for 20 years. The Vanguard Republic thought they were the strongest military force in the galaxy. They were all about to learn how wrong they were. The message reached its most important part. Lisa's voice became very serious as she read the final words. "Are not your prey? We are not your victims. We are your apex predators, and we have been waiting for you to make the first move. Choose wisely." Nick watched his screens as alien communications networks exploded with panicked messages. Within an hour, he could see emergency meetings being called across the galaxy. Alien leaders were asking each other the same frightening questions. How long had humans been watching them? How much did humans really know? How powerful were humans? Really, the truth was that humans knew almost everything. Colonel Amy Foster ran the alien monitoring program from a secret base on the moon. Her team tracked over 30 different alien species. They knew where every alien ship was located. They knew what weapons the aliens had. They knew which aliens were planning to attack Earth and which ones just wanted to trade. Dr. Ryan Bell had been studying alien biology for 15 years. His laboratory had samples of alien DNA from dozens of different species. He had created weapons designed to work against each type of alien body. If war came, humans would be ready. Jake smiled as he watched the alien panic spread across his communication screens. For 50 years, humans had pretended to be weak, while secretly becoming the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Now it was time to see if the aliens were smart enough to avoid a war they could never win. The message was simple, but its meaning was clear. Humans had been waiting and watching. They were ready for whatever came next. The aliens had been warned. The Zealothi Confederation received the human message first. Their homeworld was only 40 light-years from Earth, so the signal reached them in minutes. Ambassador Kellen Rogers was sleeping in his quarters aboard the human diplomatic ship when emergency alarms began ringing throughout the Zealothi capital ship. Kellen had been humanity's secret representative to the Zealothi for 3 years. The aliens thought he was just a simple trader selling earth metals and rare minerals. They had no idea he was actually a trained diplomat and intelligence officer. His real job was to watch the Zealothi and report everything back to Earth. Zealothi Emergency Council met within an hour of receiving the message. 12 different alien species had representatives in their great meeting hall. Kellen watched from the observation deck as they argued and shouted at each other in their strange languages. His translation device helped him understand most of what they were saying. "The humans have been lying to us for 50 years, said the Zealothi Prime Minister. The creature looked like a tall lizard, with 4 arms and bright blue skin. They made us believe they were primitive and stupid. We thought they could barely travel to their own moon." Commander Patricia Lee was listening to every word from her secret base on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. She had been in charge of fooling the aliens for over a decade. Her team had carefully planned every piece of fake information that the aliens received about humanity. They made human technology look simple and weak on purpose. Patricia smiled as she heard the aliens panic. Her team had done their job perfectly. They had let the aliens capture old human spacecraft that were filled with fake technology, had allowed alien spies to see fake human military bases that looked much weaker than they really were. The aliens had believed every lie. Meanwhile, the Korthax Empire was having its own emergency meeting. These aliens looked like giant insects with hard shells and sharp claws. They had been planning to invade Earth for 20 years. General Greg Adams had been watching their plans from the beginning. Greg worked for human intelligence and had learned to speak the Korthax language perfectly. It hacked into their computer systems years ago. He knew about every Korthax military base, every warship, and every battle plan. The Korthax thought their communications were secret, but humans had been reading their messages for decades. "How long have the humans known about our invasion fleet?" asked the Korthax High Commander. The alien's voice sounded like metal scraping against stone. "They mentioned our territories and our plans. They know everything." The answer was that humans knew more than everything. Colonel Amy Foster ran the Department of Alien Intelligence from a base hidden inside an asteroid. Her computers tracked the movement of every alien ship in the galaxy. She knew which aliens were friendly, which ones were dangerous, which ones were just curious about humans. Amy's favorite part of her job was watching alien leaders realize how badly they had underestimated humanity. Right now she was reading panicked messages from 37 different alien species. They're all asking the same questions. How powerful were humans really? How long had humans been watching them? What would humans do next? Dr. Ryan Bell was working late in his laboratory. when the alien reactions started coming in. Ryan studied alien biology and had been developing weapons for 15 years. His lab contained tissue samples from every known alien species. He had spent years learning about alien weaknesses and how to exploit them. Ryan's work was completely secret. The aliens had no idea that humans understood their biology so well. If war broke out, human weapons would be designed to work perfectly against each type of alien body. Some aliens would face diseases that only affected their species. Others would encounter gases that were harmless to humans but deadly to them. Most interesting reaction came from the Seraphim Collective. These aliens believed they were the best spies in the galaxy. They had been secretly watching hundreds of different civilizations for thousands of years. Their leader was a creature that looked like a floating jellyfish made of light. The Seraphim leader sent an emergency message to every known civilization in the galaxy. The message was short but terrifying. The humans have been in our computer systems for decades. They know everything we know. They have access to all our intelligence files. This revelation caused panic across the entire galaxy. If humans could hack into Seraphim systems, they could hack into anyone's systems. Every alien civilization suddenly realized that their secrets were not secret anymore. Captain Steve Watson was commanding a patrol ship near Saturn when the first alien ships started moving. His job was to watch for any aggressive alien actions and report them immediately. Within 6 hours of the message being sent, alien fleets throughout the galaxy began changing their positions. "Sir, we're seeing movement from at least 15 different alien fleets," reported Lieutenant Karen Brooks from her sensor station. "They're pulling back from human space and gathering at their home bases." Steve was not surprised. "We're scared and confused." They needed time to figure out what to do next. Some would want to attack humans before humans could attack them. Others would want to negotiate and try to make peace. Most would simply try to hide and hope humans forgot about them. Major Chris Turner monitored alien communications from the bridge. He could speak 7 different alien languages and could understand 12 more. "The aliens are forming groups," he reported. "Some want to fight us. Some want to surrender. Some want to pretend this never happened." The galaxy was dividing into different camps. The warrior species wanted to test human strength in battle. The peaceful species wanted to establish diplomatic relations immediately. The merchant species wanted to find out if humans had anything valuable to trade, but all of them had one thing in common. They were all afraid of what humans might do next. Message had promised that humans were waiting. Now every alien in the galaxy wondered what humans were waiting for. 3 months passed after humanity sent their warning message across the galaxy. Most alien civilizations were still trying to figure out what to do next. Some were scared and stayed away from human space. Others were angry and wanted to fight. The Vanguard Republic decided they would be the first to test. If humans were really as dangerous as they claimed to be, the Vanguard were proud warriors who had conquered 12 different star systems. They believed they had the strongest military in the galaxy. Their ships were fast, and their weapons were powerful. Most importantly, they thought humans were still just primitive creatures who got lucky with some advanced technology. Admiral Pierce commanded the Vanguard test fleet. He was an old warrior who had won battles against 6 different alien species. Pierce chose 12 of his best ships for this mission. These ships had shields that could stop most weapons and guns that could destroy entire cities. Captain Steve Watson was waiting for them. He commanded the USS Vigilant, a human warship that was floating invisible near the edge of human space. Steve had been expecting this test for weeks. Human intelligence had been reading Vanguard communications and knew about their plans from the beginning. Steve's ship was completely hidden from alien sensors. The USS Vigilant used technology that the aliens had never seen before. It could bend light around itself and absorb all energy that touched its hull. To alien eyes, the ship simply did not exist. "Sir, we are detecting the alien fleet," reported Lieutenant Karen Brooks from her sensor station. She was young, but very good at her job. 12 ships in standard Vanguard battle formation. They are moving slowly toward Earth. Steve looked at the tactical display on his main screen. The Vanguard ships were arranged in a pattern designed to protect their flagship from attack. They thought they were being careful and smart. They had no idea that human weapons could reach them from distances they had never imagined. Major Chris Turner sat at the weapons station. He'd been training for this moment for 5 years. Chris knew exactly which weapon to use and where to aim it. The humans had been studying Vanguard ship designs for decades and knew every weakness. "Initiate Protocol 7, Steve said calmly. Chris pressed several buttons on his control panel. Deep inside the USS Vigilant, a special weapon began to charge. Up, this weapon fired pieces of metal at incredible speed. The metal projectiles were so fast that they could punch through any known shield or armor. Best of all, the weapon made no light or sound that aliens could detect. The Vanguard flagship was called the Iron Fist. Admiral Pierce stood on its bridge feeling confident and strong. He had no idea that human weapons were already aimed at his ship. He was looking at his sensor displays and wondering why he could not detect any human ships nearby. "Where are the human defenders?" Pierce asked his sensor officer. "Their message claimed they were waiting for us. I see nothing but empty space." The sensor officer checked his instruments again. "Sir, I detect no human ships within 50 light minutes of our position. Either they are hiding or they have run away in fear." Pierce smiled with satisfaction. He had been right to doubt human strength. The message had been nothing but empty words designed to scare weak aliens. Humans were probably hiding behind their home planet, hoping the Vanguard would go away. Commander Lisa Martinez was watching the battle from Lunar Command, a secret human base on the far side of the moon. She had access to sensors that could see everything happening in the outer solar system. Lisa knew exactly when the human weapon would fire and what would happen next. "Weapon discharge in 5 seconds, she reported to Earth Command. "Target is the Vanguard flagship. All other enemy ships are within range for follow-up strikes." Kinetic projectile left the USS Vigilant at 1/10 the speed of light. It crossed the distance to the Iron Fist in less than 2 seconds. The Vanguard never saw it coming. Their shields were designed to stop energy weapons and explosives, not solid metal moving at incredible speed. The Iron Fist simply disappeared. One moment, it was a mighty warship with 800 crew members. The next moment, it was expanding. Cloud of metal and gas. The kinetic weapon had hit the ship's main reactor and turned the entire vessel into a brief new star. The 11 remaining Vanguard ships panicked immediately. Their sensors finally detected the explosion, but they still could not see any human ships. As far as they knew, their flagship had been destroyed by an invisible enemy using an impossible weapon. "This is Admiral Pierce of the Vanguard Republic," came a desperate transmission from one of the surviving ships. The real Admiral Pierce was dead, but his second-in-command was trying to save the remaining fleet. "We withdraw from human space immediately. We seek no conflict with your people." But Captain Watson was not finished with his demonstration. The Vanguard had come to test human strength. Steve intended to give them a complete education about what humans could really do. "You came here to test us, Steve," broadcast to the alien fleet. His voice was calm and cold. "Let us show you what we are capable of." Over the next hour, the human fleet systematically disabled every remaining Vanguard ship. Steve used different weapons on each target to show the complete range of human technology. Some ships lost power when electromagnetic pulse weapons fried their electronics. Others found their computer systems taken over by human viruses that turned their own weapons against them. The Vanguard tried to fight back, but their weapons could not hit targets they could not see. Human ships appeared just long enough to fire, then vanished again before the aliens could respond. It was like fighting ghosts who could reach out and touch you whenever they wanted. "Return to your people," Captain Watson finally commanded. When all 11 ships were floating helpless in space, "Tell them what you have seen here today. Tell them that we kept our promise. We gave you a warning." The surviving Vanguard ships limped home with their proud warriors humbled and afraid. They carried with them the knowledge that humans were not just advanced, but terrifyingly precise in their use of violence. News of the Vanguard defeat spread through the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within 2 weeks, every major alien civilization knew what had happened to the proud warrior fleet. The story grew bigger with each telling. Some aliens said the humans had destroyed 12 ships in 12 seconds. Others claimed that human weapons could strike across entire star systems. Ambassador Rachel Kim found herself suddenly the most important person in the galaxy. She worked at the Human Diplomatic Station, a small outpost that had been almost ignored by alien governments for years. Now her communication systems were overloaded with messages from alien leaders who desperately wanted to talk. Rachel had been a diplomat for 15 years, but she had never experienced anything like this. Alien species that had never bothered to return her calls were now begging for meetings. The same creatures who had treated humans like primitive children were now offering gifts and asking for friendship. "Ma'am, we have received 47 requests for diplomatic meetings in the past day," reported her assistant, Lieutenant Bobby Green. "The Altarian Federation is offering us exclusive trading rights to their entire star system. The hegemony wants to sign a non-aggression pact immediately." Rachel smiled as she read through the desperate messages. For years, she had tried to establish normal diplomatic relations with these aliens. They had all refused, believing that humans had nothing valuable to offer. Now they were learning how wrong they had been. But not all aliens wanted to make friends. Colonel Danny Lee worked at the Galactic Monitoring Station, a secret human facility that watched alien military movements. His job was to track potential threats and warn Earth about dangerous activities. "They are forming an alliance," Danny reported to his commanding officer. 7 different species so far, possibly more. They are calling it the Defensive Coalition. The coalition was led by the Altarian Federation, a species that looked like tall, thin humans with gray skin and large black eyes. The Altarians had been watching humanity for over a century. They considered themselves to be the most intelligent species in the galaxy and were insulted that primitive humans had outsmarted them. General Peter Hayes had been studying the Altarians for 20 years. He knew their military capabilities, their political structure, and their strategic thinking. Peter had predicted that the Altarians would try to organize other species against humanity. He had been preparing for this moment. "The Altarians are scared," Peter explained to President Amanda Clark during a secure video call. "They have been the dominant intelligence-gathering species for thousands of years. Now they realize that humans have been gathering intelligence on them for decades. They feel threatened and embarrassed." President Clark listened carefully from her office in Washington. She had been expecting this reaction from some alien species, and everyone would accept that humans were now the strongest force in the galaxy. Some would try to fight rather than accept the new reality. "What are our options?" President Clark asked. "We can wait and see what they do, or we can show them that forming alliances against us is pointless," Peter replied. "I recommend a demonstration of our capabilities." Major Janet Moore was monitoring coalition communications from her station deep underground. Her team had broken the encryption codes used by all 7 species in the Alliance. She could read their private messages and listen to their secret meetings. "They are planning a coordinated strike," Janet reported. "The coalition fleet will have over 200 ships. They want to hit our outer defense stations and force us to negotiate." From a position of weakness, Dr. Kevin Ross ran the Predictive Analytics Division, a group of humans who used advanced computers to predict alien behavior. His models had been accurate for over 10 years. Kevin's latest analysis showed that the coalition would attack within 3 months. "They believe that our victory over the Vanguard was luck," Kevin explained. "They think we used all our advanced weapons in that one battle. They're planning to attack before we can reload or repair our systems." Captain Laura Thompson commanded the USS Retribution, one of humanity's newest and most advanced warships. Her ship was equipped with technology that even other human ships did not have. Laura's mission was to find the Coalition fleet and deliver humanity's second warning. The Coalition was gathering its forces at a staging area near the edge of the Orion Arm. 200 ships from 7 different species were practicing battle formations and coordinating their attack plans. They thought they were far enough from human space to avoid detection. They were wrong. Human ships had been watching them for weeks. Laura's fleet consisted of 50 human ships, all equipped with the most advanced stealth and weapon systems. They traveled to the Coalition staging area without being detected by any alien sensors. The Coalition had no idea that human ships were already among them. "All ships, execute Revelation Protocol," Laura commanded. 50 human ships suddenly appeared in the middle of the Coalition fleet. One moment the aliens were alone in space, practicing their attack formations. The next moment they were surrounded by human warships that had been invisible seconds before. The Coalition fleet panicked immediately. Their formation broke apart, as ships tried to escape or prepare for battle, but the human ships did not fire their weapons. They simply sat there, visible and waiting. "Attention Coalition forces," Laura broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Captain Thompson of the Human Space Navy. We know who you are. We know your plans. We know your capabilities. This is your second warning." The message was clear. Humans could appear anywhere, anytime, without being detected. The Coalition's secret staging area was not secret. Their surprise attack was not a surprise. Their carefully planned alliance was known to humanity from the beginning. "We have been monitoring your communications for months," Laura continued. "And we know which ships carry your best weapons. We know which commanders lead your fleets. We know which planets supply your materials. You have no secrets from us." Some Coalition ships tried to target the human vessels, but their weapons could not lock onto the human ships. The human stealth technology was too advanced for alien sensors to track effectively. "You can continue with your attack plans if you wish," Laura said, "but understand that we will be waiting for you. We will know when you are coming, where you are going, and what you plan to do when you get there." The Coalition fleet began to fall apart immediately. Some species withdrew their ships and left the staging area. Others tried to maintain the alliance, but without full participation. Their plans became impossible to execute. Within a week, their defensive coalition had collapsed completely. Aliens learned the same lesson that the Vanguard had learned. Humans did not make empty threats. When they gave a warning, it was wise to listen. The collapse of the defensive coalition marked the end of the old galaxy. For 3 weeks after Captain Laura Thompson's demonstration, alien civilizations across the galaxy waited to see what humans would do next. Many expected immediate conquest or demands for surrender. Instead, humanity did something that surprised everyone. They began sharing information. Commander Tyler Scott worked in the Department of Historical Intelligence, a secret human organization that had been recording galactic events for over a century. Tyler's job was to release classified files that would show the galaxy exactly how long humans had been involved in alien affairs. The first revelation came on a Tuesday. Tyler released communication records showing that human agents had been present during the Korthax Zealoty, or 30 years ago. The war had lasted 5 years and killed millions of aliens from both species. What the galaxy did not know was that human mediators had been working secretly to end the conflict. "We were there," President Amanda Clark announced during her first address to the Galactic Council. "We helped negotiate the peace treaty that ended your war." The Korthax and Zealoty representatives thought they were talking to neutral aliens from the Outer Rim. They were actually talking to human diplomats. This news shocked both species. They had celebrated their peace treaty as a victory of alien wisdom and cooperation. Learning that humans had guided the negotiations made them question everything they thought they knew about their own history. The revelations continued throughout the week. Tyler released files showing human involvement in dozens of conflicts. The Vorthan Civil War had ended when mysterious technical advisors helped the rebels build better weapons. Those advisors were human engineers. The great trade dispute between 5 merchant species had been resolved by a neutral arbitration committee. That committee included 3 human economists. Admiral Nancy Foster spoke at the first emergency session of the Galactic Council. Representatives from 47 different species gathered to hear what she had to say. Nancy had been coordinating human involvement in galactic affairs for 20 years. "We did not interfere because we wanted to control you," Nancy explained. "We interfered because we wanted to protect you from yourselves. Every time a conflict threatened to destroy entire civilizations, we found ways to help you reach peaceful solutions." The aliens struggled to understand this concept. Most species gained power through conquest and domination. The idea that a powerful species would work secretly to maintain peace was completely foreign to their thinking. Dr. Sarah Mitchell ran the Department of Galactic Psychology. Her job was to study alien behavior and predict how different species would react to various situations. Sarah had been advising human leaders about alien reactions for 15 years. Most alien species think in terms of winners and losers, Sarah explained to the council. They cannot imagine a scenario where the strongest species chooses to help weaker species instead of conquering them. This is why our approach has been so effective. The evidence was overwhelming. Human agents had been preventing wars, mediating disputes, and guiding peaceful resolutions throughout the galaxy for decades. Species that thought they had been acting independently discovered that key decisions had been influenced by human. Advisors working in secret, Captain Billy Roberts, patrolled the neutral zone between the hegemony and the Republic. These two alien nations had been enemies for over 200 years. They fought small battles constantly and threatened each other with larger wars. Billy's job was to keep the peace, using humanity's new open approach. Tension, hegemony, and Republic fleets, Billy broadcast when he detected ships from both sides moving toward each other. This is Captain Roberts of the Human Peacekeeping Force. You will withdraw to your previous positions and allow diplomats to resolve this dispute. Both alien fleets stopped immediately. The hegemony and Republic had fought each other for centuries, but neither was willing to fight humans. Billy's ship, the USS Peacekeeper, was alone against 40 alien warships, but everyone knew that attacking it would bring the full power of humanity down on their heads. But Captain Roberts protested. The hegemony commander, the Republic ships crossed into our territory first, and the hegemony has been planning to invade that territory for 6 months, Billy replied calmly. We have been reading your communications. We know about your troop movements and supply operations. Both sides will return to base and send diplomats to the peace station we have established. This was the new reality of the galaxy. Humans no longer worked in secret. They openly prevented conflicts and forced alien species to resolve disputes through negotiation instead of violence. Species that had warred for centuries found themselves unable to fight. When human ships appeared at their borders, Lieutenant Emma Davis commanded a small human outpost in the frontier sector. Her region contained 12 different alien colonies that constantly argued over territory and resources. Emma's job was to mediate these disputes before they turned into shooting wars. The mining rights to the asteroid belt belong to whoever can extract the most resources without damaging the environment. Emma announced during a dispute between 3 alien species, "We will monitor all mining operations and shut down anyone who violates our environmental standards." The aliens had no choice but to accept her decision. Emma had only 1 ship and a crew of 20 humans, but she represented the most powerful species in the galaxy. Her word was law in the frontier sector. Galaxy learned to live under humanity's invisible hand. Wars became rare because humans prevented them. Trade disputes were resolved quickly because human arbitrators made fair decisions. Exploration of new territory proceeded peacefully because human observers ensured that no species could claim territory through violence. Admiral Jake Morrison, now the Supreme Commander of Human Space Operations, addressed the galaxy during the first anniversary of the warning message. His words summarized the new galactic order. "We gave you 1 warning," Jake said. "We told you we were waiting. You now know what we were waiting for. We were waiting for the galaxy to grow up, to stop fighting endless wars, and to learn to solve problems through cooperation instead of conquest. We do not want to rule you," Jake continued. "We want to guide you toward a better future. We'll continue to watch and wait, but now you know we are watching. Choose your actions wisely." Galaxy had changed forever. Humanity's patient strength had created a new era of peace, whether the aliens wanted it or not. The age of endless conflicts was over, replaced by an era where human wisdom maintained order among the stars, and in the vast darkness of space, human ships continued their eternal watch, ensuring that the galaxy remained peaceful under their quiet but absolute authority.